إن الحمد لله نحمده تعالى ونستغفره ونستهديه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدًا عبد الله ورسوله أرسله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله وكفى بالله شهيدا فصلوات الله وسلامه عليه. We begin by praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We praise Him because He's worthy of praise, and we see His worthiness of being praised through His names and attributes, His beautiful names and His attributes. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us from the evils within ourselves and the evil consequences of our actions. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to send His peace and blessings upon the last and final messenger Muhammad ibn Abdullah, salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi, and upon his family and his companions and all those who follow him until the day of judgment. Ameen. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. And we remind one another to be people of taqwa, to be conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in our daily routines, at home and at business, and with our friends and family. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among the muttaqeen. Ameen. As the days of Ramadan wind down, as the excitement of Ramadan starts to fade out, we go through the same routine every single year. It is not but a day after Ramadan when we feel like the spirit of Ramadan has completely left us. A day or two, subhanAllah. There's something special about Ramadan that causes us all to come together, causes us all to sacrifice our time, to come to the masjid, to pray for long hours during Taraweeh and during Qiyam. There's something special about Ramadan that inspires us to do that. And as soon as it ends, that inspiration dies out. Not slowly, but quickly. It fades away. And we go back to our standard lives. We feel that disconnect from our faith, that disconnect from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this disconnection, it's not a problem for some people. This isn't a problem that certain Muslims are dealing with while other Muslims are A-okay. Rather, this is a universal problem, meaning every single Muslim, every single human even, faces this challenge of being disconnected from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they always feel it. It's in the back of their mind, they can feel it in their heart, especially for us Muslims. It's very rare to find a Muslim who says, I could care less about my faith. There's always something in the back of their hearts, the back of their mind that's telling them one day I need to be better. But there's a disconnect. And it's universal. Even the pious individuals, even the pious people have felt this. And they feel it. And it's a challenge to them. And the evidence of that is that Allah in a hadith, one of the companions is walking in the streets of Medina saying, Nafaqa Hanzala, Nafaqa Hanzala, Nafaqa Hanzala. Hanzala, which is his name, is a hypocrite. Hanzala is a hypocrite. And he's walking around the street saying this publicly. Abu Bakr hears him. And he says, what's your deal? Why are you saying that? He says, when we're with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it's as if we can see paradise and hell. We are so engaged, so immersed in our spirituality. We are so connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But as soon as we go home, we become distracted with our daily lives, with our families. And we forget that. I'm a hypocrite. Abu Bakr says, I go through the same thing. And Abu Bakr is, the best companion. Radiallahu anhu. He says, I go through the same thing, I feel the same thing. Let's go to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And they told him, and he said, if you are always to be the way you are with me, then the angels will come down and humbly put their wings down for you. However, give an hour for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, give an hour for yourself, and give an hour for your family. An hour, an hour, an hour. But the point I'm trying to make from this hadith is that this disconnect is not exclusive to less practicing Muslims. Even the best of the best felt this. And from here the scholars developed a science. It's called the science of spirituality, tazkiyah, purifying the self. They feel it. The scholars felt it. That even if you are praying, for example, your 5 daily prayers, and you're doing what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has obligated you to do, there's always this feeling of disconnect. When you pray, our minds are distracted. When we give zakat, it's just for a moment and then we go back. When we do a functioning humanitarian effort, it's just for a period of time, and as soon as we go back, we forget. So they developed an entire science with thousands of volumes about this, how to be more connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And from here, there's one main point that we should take in order to understand this concept. And that is living the faith. We always hear this, you need to live the Quran. Living the faith is a level of iman. But there's experiencing the faith. That's a higher level. And the evidence for that is the verse in the end of Surah Al-Hujurat. قَالَتِ الْأَعْرَابُ آمَنَّا. The Bedouins say, we believe, we have iman. And then what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? قَالَتِ الْأَعْرَابُ آمَنَّا قُلْ لَمْ تُؤْمِنُوا وَلَكِنْ قُولُوا أَسْلَمْنَا. Say that you have not embodied iman. Rather say that we have submitted to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَلَمَّا يَدْخُلْ الْإِيمَانُ فِي قُلُوبِكُمْ. And iman has yet to enter your hearts. And it's very beautiful, this word, lamma, because it means it still hasn't happened, but there's a possibility for it to happen. So Islam is a level. And another evidence of this is a hadith of Jibreel. When Jibreel came and said, what's Islam and what's Iman and what's Ihsan? The first one is Islam, and that's a level. Most of us live Islam. But Iman is another level. It's a higher level. Being connected, experiencing the faith. So what are the reasons, what are the factors that cause a person to become disconnected? This is a very important concept. This is a very universal problem. And no doubt the Quran addresses it. And does us a big favor. Summarizes it for us. Summarizes the factors that lead to us being disconnected from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the verses in Surah Yunus. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ لَا يَرْجُونَ لِقَاءَنَا وَرَضُوا بِالْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَاطْمَأَنُّوا بِهَا وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ آيَاتِنَا غَافِلُونَ أُولَٰئِكَ مَأْوَاهُمُ النَّارُ بِمَا كَانُوا يَكْسِبُونَ. Those who do not look forward to meeting us, meaning they are disconnected from the next life, the concept of the afterlife. They are pleased with this life, and they have become way too connected to this life. And those who are disconnected from our verses, from the Quran. These are the factors that lead people to hellfire. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. These three things. SubhanAllah. Number one, those who are disconnected from the afterlife. There is something about the belief in the next life that's critical to our belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to our connection to Him. And you find throughout the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes this correlation. وَأَنَّ الَّذِينَ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْآخِرَةِ أَعْتَدْنَا لَهُمْ عَذَابًا أَلِيمًا. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes the disbelievers. He doesn't call them as disbelievers. Rather, He calls them with the description. Those who don't believe in the next life, they're the disbelievers. وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْآخِرَةِ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِهِ. Another example. Those who believe in the next life, believe in it. One opinion, this is referring to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the second opinion is referring to the Quran. Meaning those who have a concept. They believe that after we pass away, our lives, our existence continues. These are the people who have a lot easier of a time for accepting the Quran, submitting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the third example says, Ilahukum ilahun wahid. Your God is one God. He's the only one worthy of worship. وَالَّذِينَ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْآخِرَةِ قُلُوبُهُمْ مُنْكِرَةٌ وَهُمْ مُسْتَكْبِرُونَ. And those who don't believe in the next life, again referring to the disbelievers with a description, a certain quality that they all have, or many of them have, and that is a disbelief in the next life. But what's beautiful in this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala points to the consequences of disbelief in the next life. The spiritual consequences. قُلُوبُهُمْ مُنْكِرَةٌ وَهُمْ مُسْتَكْبِرُونَ. Their hearts reject, and they are arrogant. Disbelief in the next life has something to do with arrogance. Because how can we be arrogant when we know that we are going to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? We are going to stand in front of the King of Kings. How can we be arrogant when we know when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala starts the process of resurrection, He shakes the universe and says, أَنَا الْمَلِكْ أَيْنَ مُلُوكُ الْأَرْضِ subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says, I am the king, where are the kings of this earth? There's a one-on-one appointment between me and them, subhanahu wa ta'ala. How can we be arrogant when we know we will be resurrected? When we will go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala while witnessing the universe crumbling apart. The sun that we have seen every day, the moon that we have seen every night. We see them crumbling, shattering. The land that we used to walk, the mountains that we found so beautiful, they're all coming apart. How can we have arrogance? And this is the explanation for the hadith in which the Prophet ﷺ says, no one will enter paradise while an ounce of arrogance is in their heart. The question is, who amongst us does not have an ounce of arrogance in their heart? How do we resolve this? How do we reconcile this hadith with our realities? And the answer is so beautiful. On the Day of Judgment, we will see things so marvelous that any arrogance that's left in the heart will disappear. It will evaporate, subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's His power. Being disconnected from the next life causes us to be disconnected from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What is the point of doing what we do? What is the point of fasting from Fajr until sunset? When no one is looking, no one is seeing, except that we believe we are returning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and there are consequences and rewards for our actions. Believe in the next life. If you want to continue to live Ramadan outside of Ramadan, constantly remind yourself of the next life. And number two, being pleased with this life and being overly attached to it. And this is connected to the previous one. If we know that we are going to die, and we know that there's a next life, how valuable is this life really? Not much. Anything that depreciates, they say the worst investment is a car. Why? Because it depreciates and eventually becomes valueless, like this life. But it depreciates with our aging. And when a person dies, then what value do their trillions of dollars have? Absolutely nothing. What value does their castles have or their mansions have? Absolutely nothing. What value do their political powers have? Absolutely nothing. What value do their family members have? What can they offer them? Absolutely nothing. Therefore, this life, how much does it really have to offer us? Not much. Compare this life to the next life. Compare the rewards of this life and the blessings of this life to the blessings and the rewards of the next life. It's incomparable. We know that. We know that, but we need to feel it. When we look at something like a home, and it's a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, also remember that that home requires maintenance. It requires work. It gets older. Its value might go down. It needs a lot of attention. People might break in. how much value does that have now? It depreciates. Versus the palaces and the castles of paradise, which are much easier to attain, much simpler to attain. You don't need to have a salary of $200,000 in order to get a home in paradise. Compare this life to the next life. And number 3, being disconnected from the verses of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And subhanAllah, this is a major challenge. Being disconnected from the verses. Now there are levels here. Some disconnection is that some Muslims after Ramadan, they won't read the Quran until next Ramadan. That is a disconnection. But some of us will read the Quran, but they don't contemplate it that much. That is a type of disconnection. And some of us read the Quran, and we try understanding it, we try studying it, but we don't feel it. And that's a different type of disconnection. And when I say disconnection, it means that there's a challenge at hand. There's a way of overcoming this disconnection. But when you look at the Quran is made in a way that illustrates to us, the world around us. It gives meaning to each and everything, to ourselves, to our lives, to our families, to our food, to our drink, to our natural world. Everything has a meaning. Therefore, there's always a chance. There's always a way of experiencing the Quran. And we are living in a world that's completely filled with that. Look at, for example, the verse, وَرَحْمَتِي وَسِعَتْ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ. My mercy has reached the extent of everything. This is a very, very bold statement. A very powerful statement. Everything has mercy in there. The mercy of Allah is everywhere. Yes, it is. How can we see it? Just go outside. Just go outside. Look at the tree. And I always give this example. Look at the tree. That tree, before it was a tree, was what? It was a seed. And that seed was on a tree or on a plant, lingering there. But what came? The wind came, and it blew the tree down, blew the seed down. And an animal came and planted that seed. Or somehow that seed made its way into the dirt. And the dirt had a process of causing it to become a tree. And the rain came down and irrigated the land. And that tree grew. And once the tree grew, it provided its fruits and its vegetation. Do we do any of that? Absolutely nothing. Look at the sky. It is blue. It is a softer color on the eyes. The sky serves as a ceiling for us, so that it protects us from anything harmful from outer space, whether it's radiation or foreign objects entering the atmosphere. Clouds serve as shade. It brings rain. Mountains create paths for us, valleys, and valleys channel the water, creating them, causing them to become streams and rivers. Air. All of these things have something in common. They're not from our hands. They're from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Anywhere and everywhere you look, you find how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created a world that caters to our needs, makes it easier for us. We are literally swimming in a world, we are literally swimming in the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's everywhere. Yet how many times have we heard, why isn't Allah answering my dua? Where is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? It's literally everywhere. His mercy. We don't feel that. Look at Tawheed. Monotheism. The prophets. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent them to us as mercy. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. As role models. They made life simple for us. They made our theology simple for us. They endured the struggles of preaching a theology that went against the norms and the elites, so that we can bear the fruits of that. As Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu says, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the one who struggled for you to become rich. He was talking to his time after the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when wealth became abundant. And he said, you see what you're eating, all this wealth that you have and you're excited about? It was the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam who struggled so that you can have that. And the Prophet ﷺ said, it's not poverty I fear for you, but rather it's wealth. And Muslims tend to be wealthy. We are swimming in the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but we don't feel it. Because we have an aspect, an element, an amount of disconnection from the Quran. We are at the end of Ramadan, the beautiful month where we are connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are connected with the faith. It is a month that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made a season for us to rediscover our relationship with Him, our capability of being faithful individuals, being pious individuals any time of the year. There's nothing forcing us to come here during Ramadan. There's nothing forcing us to wake up at night. There's nothing forcing us to fast. That's from you. That is from your heart. We love food and drink. We love sleep and rest. When we give up all of that, we're not giving it up for no reason. We are giving it up for something, rather someone who we love more than that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have the capability. We have the hearts to be connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But it's about maintaining that outside of Ramadan. And these are three ways, or three factors we need to be aware of. Do not be disconnected from the next life. Do not become overly attached to this life. Always remember how little it has to offer you in comparison to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prepared for us in the afterlife. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us among the people of Jannah. Ameen. And don't be disconnected from the verses of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Look for them in your daily lives. And don't be frustrated. You might study, I don't understand this. You might study, I don't see this. But you know what? In my experience of studying Islam and studying the Quran, I feel that part of learning is feeling that you don't understand in the beginning. Because when you don't understand, it causes you to think more. It creates that frustration. I want to understand this, but I don't. Now there's emotion attached to your endeavor, to your learning. I want to know this, and it bothers you. But when it bothers you, you start thinking about it more. But you find slowly and slowly Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala starts teaching you. He starts showing you. He starts uncovering the secrets and the meaning of these verses, to where when you look at a tree or you look at a mountain, it's no longer just a series of causes and effects, but rather that tree is a representation of Allah's mercy, a representation of His care for us. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among those who are to stay connected to Him and to the faith after Ramadan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our Ramadan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our deeds. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our fasting, our qiyam, our taraweeh. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept them and make us among the people of paradise. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us among those who are connected to the next life, who understand the value of this life, and who are connected to His verses subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have several announcements. Number one, the all-night qiyam is tonight at 11:45. Inshallah, we will begin at 11:45. The program, inshallah, looks very nice. We hope you enjoy it. Sheikh Yasser will be speaking along with myself. Sheikh Ibrahim Uthman will be reciting during the first half of the qiyam. Not the entire first half, but during the first half. And Sheikh Zuhair will do the second half of recitation. The khatim of the Quran is Sunday, June 2nd. Now for tonight, the all-night qiyam, alhamdulillah, the sheriff's office is allowing us to park in areas that are normally not allowed to be parked at during the night. So when you see, for example, over here, no parking between 12 and 5 a.m., they are excusing that. What isn't excused is any place that's painted red or by the stop signs. So stay away from those two areas, but anywhere else, even if it has a sign that says no parking, you are allowed to park there. Eid, as of now, is announced for Tuesday, June 4th. We'll be having 3 prayers. The first one at 6:30 a.m., the second at 8 a.m., and the third at 9:30 a.m. Again, 8 prayers will be at 6:30, 8, and 9:30. Takbirat will start 30 minutes prior to each of those. Remember to pay your zakat al-fitr. It's $15 per person, and that starts from as soon as a child is born. So if you have a 1-day-old child, you have to pay zakat al-fitr for them. Purchase your weekend iftar community tickets outside. If you have picked up a Eid wish list card, please be sure to return them tonight. Return them ASAP so that we can send them to the distributor and they can distribute it by Eid, inshallah. Please support Pillars Academy and buy a ticket for the graduation gala on June 9th at Norman Murray Community Center. Summer camp will begin on June 24th until August 2nd, serving children 3 months to 14 years of age. Stop by Pillars Academy to register. اللهم اغفر للمسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات إنك سميع قريب مجيب الدعوات يا رب العالمين. اللهم أصلح لنا ديننا الذي هو عصمة أمرنا، وأصلح لنا دنيانا التي فيها معاشنا، وأصلح لنا آخرتنا التي إليها معادنا، واجعل الحياة زيادة لنا في كل خير، واجعل الموت راحة لنا من كل شر، وأقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر، أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله، أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله، حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح، قد قام